You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. How we doing? How we doing? I got a trade alert I'm going to put on the board. The Indiana Fever. You got CaitlinClark and you got NaLyssa Smith. And here's the deal, folks. They say this one can't work. I say it can. Let's break it down for you. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast, and let's get into it. Here's what I'm going to propose. Talked a little bit about the earlier in the comments. You got NaLyssa Smith going to be with the Indiana Fever, and that one there has hit a bumpy road, right? And I see the fans of the Indiana Fever are kind of shouting out, NaLyssa Smith's a problem, right? And NaLyssa Smith's a different kind of player, so you got no problem there. But on the other side of the fence, I got Desmond Deshields, right? And so you got both players who are sitting here and got question marks on them. I like them both, really. If you ask for the roles now, right, we got to put it in the role perspective because when you break this one down and you say, okay, what does it equal out to? Okay, you got the Indiana Fever, you got Desmond Deshields, 6'1". Okay, that's a big guard, right? So you got Indiana Fever got a problem right now. They got a field. This is why I proposed the trade and why I say the trade makes sense, right? Because you got Lexi Hole is running in there, and she's going to be at the she's at the 2 spot, right? And Lexi plays hard, plays good defense, and you want to match that up. Now you can do it a couple different ways because when the Indiana Fever moved Lexi Hole from the bench to the starting lineup, it really just neutralized their bench and they took the punch off the bench, right? So you can do this one or two ways. You can start Lexi Hole, you can start the Shields, right? And that's going to work out for the Fever because you got a big guard, right? You got a big guard with a big body, can run the 2 or the 3 spot, right? So let's take it over to NaLyssa Smith, right? Because then you got to get in there and you got to say, okay, we got Stephanie White is coming in, is going to coach, right? So you got a situation where NaLyssa Smith is a ball player, plays the game a different way, plays hard, but there's a lot of attribute that comes with that, right? Because she comes out of there with Kim Mulkey. And anybody you get that plays under Kim Mulkey is going to bring a little bit of fire because that's how they practice, that's how they play, right? And you got to reach out and touch because it looks like to me. Now, this is again, it's my opinion, but if it turns the truth, I'm giving you the facts. This trade here makes sense for both teams. Gives the Indiana Fever a big guard, right? They need a 2 guard. They got somebody who can score. They can also play the 2 or the 3, right? So you got Kelsey Mitchell, and you look at that 300 muster where you got the Shields and Lexi Hole to go along with CaitlinClark and Kelsey Mitchell, right? But you go over there to the Sky, all right? Right now, the Sky are trying to fill a void. They're trying to figure out, okay, what we're going to do. Because you got Camilla Cardoso and you got Angel Reese, who's a tweener. Angel Reese is a tweener. She's not a 4. Okay, she's like between a 3 and a 4. That's why I tell you she can go out to the 2-3 spot. But here nor there, that's yet to be determined. But if I know Shaq and Shaq gets a hold of a Phil Handy, Handy gets a hold of Angel Reese, all those problems are gone, right? Because Handy's been doing this with the Lakers for years, right? And he's also training Juju Watkins. So when you take a player like Smith, let's go back to NaLyssa Smith. NaLyssa Smith, both of these players are what you call up and down players. What are up and down players? Up one night, down the next night, right? But when you look at the numbers and you start saying, okay, well, who does what, right? So we gotta get the numbers in there, and you got to get to NaLyssa Smith, and you got to come back and you say Deshields, right? I think Deshields is tremendously underperforming, no doubt about it, right? I mean, you're talking about a player that averaging 4.5 points a game. But on the Indiana Fever, that can go to double digits, right? I mean, you're not going to have any problem getting that to double digits. And you're getting 1.4, 1.3, and, zero point 0.6 in steals, right? Now, with NaLyssa Smith, she's given more production, but the production doesn't fit the system of the Indiana Fever. That's the key, right? Because it's not good. Really, how much talent you have, that really doesn't matter. It goes back to the role in the system, and is the situation a good situation for you? I know NaLyssa Smith loves Indiana. There's no doubt about it. She loves her teammates, love everything about it. But you got to put it in perspective of, does she fit what Indiana's trying to do? Indiana wants to play FIBA ball. You got to look at something with Coach Stephanie White, right? Because what did she do? She ran it to like a point 0.3, point 0.4, right? So you got to handle the ball more. I mean, because she had Alyssa Thomas, and why did Chrissy Sides let Alyssa Thomas get 25 assists in 2 games? I told you that defense wasn't going to work, the SAG defense, but she ran it back to back and they lost. That was the result, right? One player got 25 assists. Could have learned that the first night when they had about 10 or 12. But when it came time to rotate the post and get everything in clockwork, get out of the synergy, I mean, the Fever lost it, right? They couldn't bring it back together, and it looked like NaLyssa Smith just didn't fit, right? Because you went down to 5 minutes and you went down to 9 minutes. Now we could look at Christie's sides and say Christie's side didn't really determine that. If I look through it from my lens that I'm looking at it, that was more as an organization decision, right? We're not going to roll Smith, right? Because Chrissy Sides can only do what she's told, right? Because you can't make decisions like that. But NaLyssa Smith came in, and the final game of the season played 16 minutes. I think she played like 20 minutes, got 16, 18, almost 20 points, right? Because I know she could do it if you go to her and get her going early. Deshields is a consummate pro, right? Deshields is somebody you don't have to motivate. You don't have to get in there and kind of say what she does. She understands that, and she fits Fever basketball more than NaLyssa Smith fits the Fever basketball. Deshields is kind of the wing, plays good defense, big body, would complement. You got to look at Kelsey Mitchell because you got to have the 300 monster where you got to rotate. Eventually, Caitlin's got to come off the ball. Can't be on the ball 100% time bringing the ball up, right? Because you're getting blitzed. You're going to get just run different bodies at her. So the Shields takes a lot of pressure, and the Shields can shoot the ball, right? So that kind of fits. Now you go back to the sky, okay? Carmilla Cardosa, right? You got Angel Reese, okay, and you also got a big body, NaLyssa Smith, right? Now, what do you got? You got Angel Reese and Smith both played for Kim Mulkey. That's why it fits, right? Because they're going to share Kim Mulkey stories. They're going to get in there and talk about it, but they both know we got work to do, right? And NaLyssa Smith just wants to be acknowledged, her presence, her work ethic, and what she can contribute to the team. She'll never get that in the Fever system. And this is just basketball. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio podcast. We're powered up by Fanatics. We're breaking down a trade that makes sense for both teams. And the two teams are the Chicago Sky, okay, and you're also talking about the Indiana Fever. I'm saying here that NaLyssa Smith fits the Chicago Sky. There's no doubt in my mind, right? She fits them well. I say Diamond Deshields. There's no doubt in my mind she fits the Indiana Fever, right? So you got Jeff, and you got Kelly, Jeff Pagliaggi, and got Kelly sitting over there as president with Amy. You got a situation where this move makes sense for both teams, right? You get the big you want, Tyler Marsh, you get the big you want. Then you go over there and you ask Stephanie White, okay, Stephanie White, let's take Diamond Deshields and let's put her in your system. Now you got to do all this visually, but when you look at what Diamond Deshields done and what she averages over there, 4.5 points, that's kind of like being the fourth option, right? But you can have her in the six-man role, or you can have her as a starter, put Lexi back in the six-man role, because the Indiana Fevers, your fans, you guys are basketball geniuses, but you got Chicago Sky. Their fans are intelligent too. This is a square fitting into a circle for the Indiana Fever and Smith, right? So you got a square trying to fit in a circle where Chicago is a square, and you got Diamonds and Shields. Okay, it's over here. That's a circle that's trying to fit in the square where she needs to go over to the Indiana Fever. Okay, that's where a circle fits a circle. Now, if you look at both players' highlights and what they do, because Shaquille O'Neal, I'll tell you this, I I see Carmilla Cardosa and with Shaquille O'Neal and all the big training, and again, you got D Wade, right? So you got these players that they really are interchangeable, but they both can take the other to a championship. Here's the deal. Boston Celtics years ago got Bill Walton, rest in peace, great player. But when Boston got Bill Russell and his passing, it was fantastic. Chicago Sky gets a big, can play along Cardosa, and it fits, right? Because here's the other thing that I want everybody to take a deeper dive and understand. Okay. Some of the players in the WNBA play like men, right? And you got NCAA coaches coach like men, right? So what do I mean by that? Or Money Mike, what are you saying? Let me go deeper there. Don Staley coaches like a man, right? Let's be honest. Kim Mulkey coaches like a man. Really, even Lisa Bluter does too, right? So the coaches are these women have been coached in a men's mentality, right? So when they get another female, they get a little confused of what are you trying to do or what are you saying, right? But when you get over there with NaLyssa Smith, you just got to tell her what you want, what to do. This is how we roll. Everybody's there. Now you talk about This what I want you to visualize because it helps both teams. You talk about Carmelo Cardoso, okay? You got NaLyssa Smith, right? And you got Angel Reese. That's your 3, 4, 5. Now you go across the water, okay? And now you're talking about Boston. Okay, hang with me. Okay, you talking about Diamond Deshields, right? I'd say Desmond. Please excuse me. I apologize for the wrong name pronunciation. But you talk about Diamond Deshields fitting in there, right? Because Diamond Deshields can go to the 3 spot. Then you got Kelsey Mitchell, and then you got CaitlinClark, and then you have Lexi Holtz. You got a punch coming off the bench either way you go. Even if Chicago wanted to bring NaLyssa Smith off the bench, that's going to be a big time punch for Chicago because why? Angel Reese is a tweener. Okay, she's not a 4. It's a difference, right? So this trade makes sense for both teams. Only thing I'm saying is why try to fit a square NaLyssa Smith into a circle, which is the Indiana Fever, right? When the Chicago Sky are the square. Okay, hear me out. Why take a circle, which Chicago Sky is a square, and try to fit it in there when the perfect system for Diamond Deshields is the Indiana Fever? Okay, you got to look at how both players play basketball. That's why we're taking it to the next level. We're going GM Jeff Pagliacci, right? This is a move, Jeff, that makes sense. Okay, and then you go with a 2-headed monster, 3-headed monster. You got the president, Kelly, Amy, and Stephanie. Diamond Deshields, 6'1" guard. That's the guard you need. They can play the 2 or the 3. That changes the Fever rotation, gives them punch off the bench or gives them punch as a starter. Because I'll guarantee you, she can knock down shots. She does everything that is. So Money Mike's giving it to you in a different perspective. I appreciate the comments. Boy, you guys we got it going today in the comments, but it's been a lot of fun. I enjoy it. We try to make it as entertaining as we can. We always are going to tell you the bottom line is it's my opinion, but if it turns the truth, I've given you the facts before it's happened. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We're talking WNBA. We got a trade alert. That's right. We got a trade alert, and we say this trade is going to work. And what are we talking about? We talking about Diamond Deshields, and we talking about NaLyssa Smith. You call it like you want. Give me your feedback. Give me your comments. Will it work? Or Money Mike, will it not work? But the bottom line is we understand all things are possible to those who believe. We'll see you soon.